Good evening, explorers, and welcome to the range, where we're going to be bringing down various weapons, tools, and mechanics of the game's sandbox. Today, we're looking at 9x39, both the caliber and the weapons that utilize it. 9x39 is a weird round. Designed by... in the 1980s, its purpose was to provide Special Forces troops with a subsonic round that was more effective than subsonic 7.62. How did they achieve this? Well, they made the bullet bigger. They took the case of a 7.62x39 and enlarged it to fit a 9mm projectile. These are some thick fucking boys, and despite having pretty low velocity, they still hit pretty hard with good armor-piercing capabilities, and that's reflected in game. So for starters, every round of 9x39 in the game is a subsonic round. Therefore, they are quieter, but due to their slow travel, drop like a rock and make hitting targets at range generally more difficult, especially if they're moving. Starting with our usual baseline, FMJ does 100% damage, has an 85% armor penetration chance, and costs 280 for a box of 20 rounds. Copper Hollow Points, or CHP, are essentially your shitty surplus rounds, doing 80% damage, only having a 50% armor penetration chance, and having 60% projectile velocity. Even though they only cost $200 for a box of 20, yeah, just don't. Armor Piercing, or AP, does 85% damage, but has a 95% chance to penetrate armor, and costs $320 for a box of 20. To be honest, I think FMJ is the best option with this one. AP sacrifices more of your damage percentage than you actually receive in armor penetration chance. Yes, 95% is basically guaranteed, but 85 is also great, and you get the full potential damage. Moving on to the weapons, first up we have the VSS Ventores and the AS Val. Yeah, since these two weapons were designed in tandem with each other and are essentially just variants of one another, we're going to be giving both of their brief histories here. Designed by Pyotr Sudorkov and Vladimir Krasnikov of the same aforementioned organization that I refuse to pronounce, they are designed to capitalize on the new 9x39's subsonic nature by featuring integrated suppressors. Other than that, however, they are very much AK in design. They share around 3/4 of their parts with each other, but I couldn't really find any specifics. The Ventores is meant to fill the role of a marksman rifle, while the Val is meant to fill an assault rifle role, for lack of a better term. If anyone knows more key differences in the design of these two rifles, please do leave a comment. Starting with the Ventores, it has a weight of 2.6 kilograms, a mag size of 10 or 20, and a damage per shot of 80. Bear in mind the Ventores and the Val have interchangeable magazines. It has a standard-ish AK fire selector, only with this it's semi-automatic only. Same with all the AK style weapons. To charge it, the safety first needs to be disengaged. As I said before, this weapon comes with a suppressor built into it, which is really, really good. From 100 to 50% durability, it will take around 15 mags or 300 shots. The iron sights are a little weird on this one. You can definitely get used to them, but I personally would run an optic. You probably should anyway, as it's suited for more ranged engagements. It has a cost of $7,500 in the shop. For upgrades, you can get a B-rail for $600, plus 15% reliability for $600, and a B-rail sight for $750. If you want one, it can only be purchased from the shop. Overall, this is a very good gun. Between the built-in suppressor and high damage, your capability jumps up quite considerably. The only downside is the high cost, and for that, it gets an 8 out of 10. Moving on to its sibling, the AS Val. It has a weight of 2.4 kilograms, a mag size of 10 or 20, and a damage per shot of 70. Like with the Ventores, the Val also comes with an integrated suppressor. Unlike the Ventores, it's full auto capable. From 100% to 50% durability, it will take 21 mags or 420 shots. Much more than the Ventores. The sights on this are, in my opinion, much better than the VSS. It has a cost of $8,000 in the shop, and that is the only way to get it. The Val has the exact same upgrades as the Ventores. Overall, I'd say the Val is a good alternative for the Ventores. You get less weight, higher reliability, and full auto capability in exchange for a bit of damage and accuracy. I wish I could tell you how big the accuracy difference is, but I haven't figured out a good test for that yet, as any test that relies on my own ability to aim can't really be used for obvious reasons. Until I figure that out, all I can say is that, yeah, the Val does feel a little bit less consistent than the Ventores. But honestly, not by much. I'd be more than happy to take either of these out into the zone, and for that, it gets a twin score of 8 out of 10. The only thing bad about this thing is its price tag. The final gun for today is the OC-14 4A Groza. Introduced in 1994 and designed by Valery Telish and Yuri Lebedev, it is a somewhat unconventional bullpup rifle based on the AKS-74U. More specifically, it is an AKS-74U that's been redesigned into a bullpup configuration. Yes, they took this and turned it into this for some reason. The rifle was made for Spetsnaz troops to replace the AKS-74U and capitalize on the new 9x39 cartridge. However, it only had a limited service life of around 5 years, production ceasing in 1999. It seems the creators were confident in the design, as there were variants that were supposed to use 5.56 and 7.62x39, although only the 9x39 and 5.45 variants ever saw production and use. In-game, it has a weight of 3.8 kilograms, a mag size of 20, and a damage per shot of 80. It features a standard AK-style fire selector and has a built-in grenade launcher. Load a grenade and pull the trigger with your offhand to fire. From 100% durability to 50% durability, it will take 24 mags or 480 shots. The sights are a bit clunky, but usable enough. It has a cost of $7,500 in the shop. Upgrades include a B-rail for $600, plus 15% accuracy for $650, plus or minus 20% rate of fire for $600, and a B-rail sight for $650. This is the only 9x39 gun that can be found in the world, spawning in metal crates in Kolkhoz and the castle. Overall, this gun is a fucking travesty for me personally. Let me explain. Everything about this gun is great. High damage, high durability, decent recoil, built-in grenade launcher, suppressor ready, and you can potentially get it for free. What kills me about it is I hate using it. Never yet in my time making these range videos have I just wanted to hurry up and get it over with just so that I can stop using this gun. For me personally, it's an ergonomic disaster, and I really couldn't pinpoint exactly why besides it's a bullpup, but even the AUG doesn't feel this shitty to use. I'll put it to you like this. If it wasn't for this fact alone, this would be an easy 9 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of 10. So if you can feel comfortable using this thing, I would highly recommend it. However, for me personally, I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. It doesn't matter how good the gun is if I'm slightly annoyed using it the whole time. I'm probably not going to use it unless out of necessity. Before we close out, let's look at the full auto recoil tests. The Groza has much better recoil control, even if the visual recoil is much more obstructive, managing to keep all shots on target while the Val drifted off the target by a pretty good ways. All in all, 9x39 feels like a bridge from your standard intermediates like 5.45 and 5.56 to 7.62 NATO, while having a few unique properties of its own, specializing in a more sneaky playstyle. Truly a top tier round worthy of the most dangerous excursions out into the zone. Next up, we tackled the cream of the crop, 7.62 by 51. Until next time, explorers.